All right, I will call to order the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for today, Wednesday, June 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. We are in the James H. Crocker Jr. Hearing Room on the second floor of Town Hall at 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Massachusetts. To all persons interested in or affected by the action of the Zoning Board of Appeals, you're notified pursuant to Section 11 of Chapter 48 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and all amendments hereto that this public hearing will be held today, Wednesday, June 24th. First, we'll introduce board members. Herb Bodenseek.
Present.
Paul Pinard.
Present.
Aaron Webb.
Present.
Larry Hurwitz.
Present.
Manny Elvis is absent. Deborah Dorcas.
Present.
And I am Jacob Dewey. Notice of recording. This meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Section 20, I must inquire whether anyone is recording this meeting to please make their presence known. Seeing none. We did have minutes that were presented at the last meeting from May 13th, 2026. Do I have a motion to approve as written?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain because I wasn't here.
Okay, one abstention. We have no old business. So our first item tonight is appeal number 2026-011. Main Street Times, LLC, has appealed administrative officials' decision. The appellant is appealing the building permit BLDC 25-238 dated April 17, 2026, which permits construction of a building and related development, including parking at 307 Main Street, Hyannis. The subject property is located at 307 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass, as shown on Assessor's Map 327 as Parcel 103. It's located in the downtown Main Street DMS zoning district. So we did receive updated correspondence from the applicant. Mr. Brennan, did you want to? Just make, yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Robert Brennan, attorney representing the ownership of 307 Main Street. I have a letter from law offices of Paul Revere that I was asked to present to the board and read into the record, addressed to Jacob Dewey, Chairman. Dear Chairman Dewey and honorable members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, as you're aware, I am counsel to Main Street Times, LLC. On May 15, 2026, MST filed with this board General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 8 and 15, appeal of building permit number BLDC-25-238, concerning the redevelopment of 307 Main Street in Hyannis. A public hearing is currently scheduled for June 24th, 2026. I'm writing to request the withdrawal of my client's appeal and that the board vote to dismiss my client's appeal with prejudice at the start of my client's hearing at its June 24th, 2026 hearing on this matter. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Respectfully submitted, Paul Revere III.
So we need to make a motion to accept the withdrawal.
This is Paul. I move that we accept the withdrawal with prejudice.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Favor.
So appeal number 2026-011 has been withdrawn.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item, appeal number 2026-013. FW Webb Company / One Center Place Limited Partnership have applied for a variance pursuant to Section 240-33F, special screening requirements in the IND. The applicant proposes to alter the non-compliant westerly buffer to create an outdoor storage area, which will be screened by fencing from abutting properties. The subject property is located at 400 Kids Hill Road, Barnstable, Mass, as shown in Assessor's Map 296 as Parcel 025. It's located in the Industrial IND zoning district. So sitting on this would be our regular members, myself, Herb, Paul, Aaron, and Larry. Do you want to sit on this? Yes. All right. And Larry. Attorney Cox. We can wait a minute for.
Dan, do you and Andy want to sit here?
there? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, Eliza Cox with Latanzi, Spalding, and Landreth. Here this evening on behalf of my client, FW Webb Company. Joining me to my left is Dan Ojla from Down Cape Engineering, who's the engineer for this project. And to his left is Andy Macbeth from Greenleaf Construction, which is the general contractor.
Can everyone in the back please depart the room if you're going to be talking? Excuse me. Excuse
Can we
me.
quiet it down back there?
Excuse me. Can you guys just leave the room? It's all right.
We've actually applied for 2 applications. They are in the alternative, so I didn't know if you wanted to, I think it might make sense to read both into the record, and then we'd like to proceed first with the special permit request.
Okay. Did I read the variance in first? That's what
I think you did, yeah.
all right. So yeah, we can open both,
That'd
and
be
we'll
great.
have concurrent members. So, appeal number 2026-012, FW Webb Company / One Center Place Limited Partnership has applied for a special permit pursuant to section 240-93B, alteration / expansion of non-conforming buildings or structures. The applicant seeks to modify the pre-existing non-conforming westerly buffer to accommodate an outdoor storage area. The applicant proposes to reuse the existing building with interior renovations and minor site improvements as a wholesale distributor. The subject property is located at 400 Kids Hill Road, Barnstable, Mass., as shown on Assessor's Map 296, is parcel 025. It's located in the Industrial I&D zoning district. So again, sitting this would be our regular members, myself, Herb, Paul, Aaron, and Larry.
Great, thank you very much.
So you want to focus first on the special permit?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
So what I'm intending to cover today is describe the property, describe the proposed improvements, and the relief that we've requested. So this slide on the screen shows the subject property, 400 Kids Hill Road. It's in about a 9.72 acre property. It's located in the Industrial Zoning District and the Groundwater Protection Overlay District. If you look at the property, it's bounded by Independence Drive on the right and Kids Hill Road to the south. It is developed with an approximately 155,000 square foot, 2-story building that was formerly occupied by Sencor White Company. It has municipal sewer and municipal water serving the property. The site is, from a zoning perspective, fully conforming to the front, rear, and side yard building setbacks and the 30% natural state requirement of the WP district. The site is lawfully pre-existing non-conforming to the maximum building coverage, which is not changing with this proposal, impervious coverages, which is slightly being decreased with this proposal, and the required perimeter screening. I want to focus on the westerly screening. It's a 30-foot screening requirement on the side and rear property lines. And if you look at the westerly side, you'll see I've circled in red on this aerial photograph. There are many instances along that westerly property side where there is either less than 30 feet and in some cases no buffer at all, where that property abuts the properties that hit Thornton Drive, and you can see those areas circled on the screen. One other kind of unique feature of this site that I just wanted to note is that in 1998, the building was expanded basically, I don't know if this is going to work, where it sort of juts out on the upper right side of the building, that whole area. That was an expansion that was permitted through the Cape Cod Commission in 1998. And at the time, Sencor White, which was the occupant of the building, gave and donated about 6.25 acres of vacant open space land to offset development on this site. That land was deeded to the Barnstable Land Trust in 1999. So in terms of the proposed project, FW Webb Company has this property under purchase and sale agreement. FW Webb, for those of you who aren't familiar, is a wholesale distributor of plumbing, heating, and HVAC equipment. They currently have a facility kind of right around the corner from this location in the industrial area at 108 Breeds Hill Road, where they operate out of an approximately 62,000 square foot facility. And what they found is that their operations are growing. They need more space, particularly in the warehouse area. And so they've put this site under purchase and sale agreement to relocate from that Breeds Hill Road location right around the corner to this site. And so to accommodate that growth, FWeb is proposing to renovate the interior of the site and some alterations to the building's loading area and some site improvements. The site improvements, as are listed on this graphic and shown on the screen, include restriping the parking area, some new stormwater features, removing about 4,500 square feet of impervious coverages, a new outdoor loading area, which is why we're here this evening. You can see that to the west of the building, to the west of the loading docks, and partially within that non-conforming westerly buffer that we just looked at the other graphic. In addition, there's new fencing that's proposed, a substantial amount of new landscaping proposed, and some other site improvements. With the exception of the intrusions into the non-conforming buffer, all of these other site alterations fully conform with the requirements of the zoning ordinance, and no zoning relief is needed for the proposed use on the site. So in terms of the relief, we've, as I mentioned, filed for two different forms of relief, a special permit and in the alternative, a variance. The project has gone through site plan review, both informal and formal site plan review. In your file, you should find a copy of the letter dated May 22nd from the Site Plan Review Committee. And I've highlighted and noted, we did talk about zoning during the site plan review process. The comment from the planning department that the site is pre-existing non-conforming to the screening requirements stated in 24033F. Applicants must seek a special permit through the zoning board to alter this pre-existing nonconformity, and that's why we're here this evening. So the standard for altering, including intensifying an existing nonconformity, is whether that proposal is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. That's the standard that's in the ordinance. And we suggest that this is not the case. It is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. So first, we would note that the westerly buffer, which is, again, already non-conforming, abuts Thornton Drive, which, if you're familiar with that area, has very little, if any, vegetation in the buffer areas. It's a highly industrial use, consistent with this industrial use that should be, I think, located in our industrial zone. In addition, the project proposes fencing along the entire westerly property line to prevent encroachments, which are happening now, onto the site, and to screen the development and the new gravel loading area that's shown again in that sort of darker gray-green along the westerly buffer. In addition, there's a substantial amount of new plantings that are proposed by FWeb within the buffer, about 79 new trees and bushes. And in particular, those plantings have been focused, I think, where it matters most, and that is in the buffer along the Kids Hill Road frontage. And you can see those new plantings basically on the westerly side along the Kids Hill Road frontage, and then some additional plantings are also proposed to the right of the left driveway shown on the plan. In addition, there's substantial improvements in terms of groundwater protection. The prior use actually generated and used hazardous materials. FWeb does have hazardous materials, which they sell, but they do not generate hazardous waste. They do not use hazardous materials on the site, so it's a significant improvement in terms of groundwater protection. There's improved stormwater infiltration and water quality, as I mentioned earlier, reduced impervious coverage, and improved vehicular circulation, which we reviewed, particularly with the fire department, during the site plan review process. In addition, I would suggest that this project advances the town's planning objectives for this area. This site is within a designated industrial and service trade area, an ISTA, that was mapped by the town and proposed to the Cape Cod Commission under the Cape Cod Commission's Chapter H regulations, which allow for increased thresholds at the Cape Cod Commission. That was approved by the Cape Cod Commission. In its approval, the Cape Cod Commission noted, and I've cited a couple of instances in the Commission's approval of this ISTA and increased thresholds, that this is an area where the town seeks to support investment from large-scale and small-scale businesses, that there's a significant infill, reuse, and redevelopment potential in this area, and that this area, at the town's request, aims to promote balanced economic growth within the town by directing and incentivizing large-scale projects in and to established regional year-round economic and industrial centers, thus preserving more environmentally sensitive areas and areas with traditional village character located outside of the ISTA. So we respectfully suggest that this is precisely the type of commercial use and industrial use that the town has encouraged within this ISTA. In addition, this building is pretty vacant at the moment. It's a 155,000 square foot building. I think it's exciting to find a tenant of the caliber of FW Webb wanting to come in and reuse this very large, uniquely large building, which is supported by infrastructure. So we suggest to you that a special permit may be appropriately granted. This project will simultaneously enhance groundwater protection, stormwater management, add landscaping and screening where, frankly, it matters most along the curb appeal and the roadways, improve accessibility and circulation within the site. And Andy and Dan and I are here if you have any questions. And I think I'll pause at this moment, other than to say we've reviewed the staff report and have no problems with any of the conditions that are proposed.
Thank you, Attorney Cox. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, Attorney Cox, could we bring up the plot plan again, site plan? And what are the changes? This is the proposed plan, right?
Correct.
So what's existing versus what's proposed, I guess?
So really the only, well, unfortunately my pointer doesn't seem to work, but do you have one on you, Dan, by chance? Jim had a good suggestion that we're going to see if.
I thought we
There
had
it
a
is.
Boy Scout here, I guess.
You can see the mouse.
Oh,
on
there
the
we go.
screen.
Okay, so if you look on, the screen, you should see the mouse right now. So one change right there is there's a new forklift connection between the two loading area and the parking area. You can see Dan's moving that over the plan. That's new. No zone, that does not require any zoning relief. The parking lot is being restriped. In the upper right-hand corner, that is currently pavement. That's going to be removed to become pervious area. So that's the reduction in impervious surfaces that I had mentioned. And then on the westerly side, so right now that area that's shown right in sort of that darker green gray, that's going to become a gravel storage yard that would back up to the loading area. That's the portion that requires relief. That buffer is already non-conforming, but we will be further intruding into that buffer with the storage area in parts. And parts of that buffer don't exist at all right now.
So,
And then there's new planting areas where Dan is showing up to the right. That's currently bare buffer where we're planting, and then a significant amount of planting, again, along the Kids Hill frontage to, again, revegetate a currently barren buffer.
so Attorney Cox, the brown area,
Correct.
is there any asphalt on that now, or is that just bare ground?
It's just,
Well,
there's
ground.
no asphalt. We're proposing gravel so there won't be, it'll still be pervious in surface, but vegetation will be removed in areas to accommodate that gravel outdoor storage area.
So the subject of the special permit is just the loading dock?
Just that gravel area, that's the only thing that requires zoning relief. So that's a non-conforming buffer right now. We are proposing to intensify that non-conformity by removing some additional vegetation in that buffer, but then planting in other areas of buffers to revegetate currently barren buffer area.
Okay, but I mean, is the brown area, which exists today,
Yep.
going to be used?
Yes, that will be used for sort of some outdoor storage.
Okay, but it's not going to be paved? It's
Correct.
just- Okay.
That's right.
I gotcha.
We're actually decreasing the impervious coverage on the site.
So
Yeah.
there's no chart that shows how much it's going to be decreased?
The pavement,
Yeah.
it's being decreased. Dan, do you have that number?
No, I mean on the west side.
How much buffer is
The
being?
approach, yeah, right,
Yeah.
how much is going to be?
So we did calculate, it's about 23,000 square feet of buffer is being removed, but about, let me have this number, I think it's about 13,000 square feet. Yeah, about 12,155 square feet of vegetation is being removed, and almost 13,000 square feet of new vegetation is being planted in the buffers. So it's a net loss of about 8,600 square feet of buffer.
And so just, these are loading docks on that side or no? No loading
There
docks?
are loading docks on the side of the building, but the area that's sort of greenish gray in the westerly buffer, those will not have loading docks. That's for sort of outdoor storage that they'll use through the loading docks.
So where will the loading docks be?
They exist along, they're
The
being,
ones on the end facing
they
Kids
face
Hill.
the westerly
Okay.
side, yep.
Those will just remain. There's not going to be any loading docks running down the westerly side.
There are loading docks on the westerly side of the building. There are some that exist now. They are being reconfigured slightly.
Dan, there are loading docks on that westerly side? Oh, sorry, I'm over here.
So.
Sorry, I just don't see them on the plan. They're not
No, to be
identified as...
clear, yeah, so generally they're in the northwest quadrant. So there's a funny interior loading space where you can pull an 18-wheeler all the way into the building right now. We're pulling that out and sealing it off, so it's going to be like a conventional, 4-foot reveal loading dock. So every one of those dark lines, I don't know if you have every set of site plans, but these dark triangles are the loading docks there. And we all have a little at-grade, pass door type overhead door over here. But again, this is all behind the building in a very industrial area, so it's not going to be very impactful.
And so on the westerly side, you got the dark gray area that you're going to gravel and outdoor storage, and then the traditional asphalt gray area. You can't turn a 18-wheeler in there, can you?
So
How do you access a loading dock with not on that westerly
yeah,
side?
the scale of the plan is not a 20 scale. It's a reduced size. So you actually can get a good sized truck turned around down there. They've done it in the past. I think most of the trucks are somewhat smaller, and the 18-wheelers tend to load here.
The plan is to keep the tractor trailer.
Can you just introduce
turn on
yourself for
Andy's.
the record?
On the
Can you just introduce yourself for the record?
Andy Macbeth, Greenleaf Construction. So the receiving docks are going to be facing Kids Hill on the bottom of the plan, so most of the tractor trailers will be there. And then the web trucks, the shipping trucks, will be in the northwest corner. So,
Yeah, and those are existing loading docks on the south face. We were kind of focused on the west, but on the south, those are existing docks there. And we would note that we're pulling in the vegetation, so they'll be better screened from Kids Hill Road because we're introducing some new evergreen trees to, partially screen those docks.
Yeah, I guess I can now see there's just a glimmer of recognition of loading docks on that northwesterly
Right.
corner of the
Yeah.
building there.
The color plan isn't the best. You'd want to look at the sheet 1 and 2 of the site plan.
I see
set.
them now, yeah.
Those dark triangles are all, and again, everything's existing, I think, except what, 2 down here?
yeah, we're
Northwest
adding 2 or 3.
doors in the
Right.
northwest corner, yeah.
Yep.
So will
And-
the trucks park or drive on the gravel or no?
When they're making their turning movements, sometimes they will need to use a little bit of the gravel.
And what's going to be on the gravel? What are we talking about in terms of materials, storage, outdoor storage? What does Webb
Same
store that's...
products they have now, so it's all new products. So it's pipe.
Gotcha.
That type of thing.
Yep, gotcha.
Tanks, new products that are for
And-
sale.
And the... Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So the Thornton Drive property line abuts several different properties along Thornton Drive.
Yeah, if you go back to the
At least 5.
aerial, you can see it.
Okay.
Some of those are condos. I
Yep.
believe.
And is there a requirement on those property lines for vegetation?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they're all in the same district, yes.
But I believe they predated the regulation.
Yeah.
Those are ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So a lot of that, those bubbles 2, 3, and 4 from bottom to top, or basically all that vegetation is going to be removed. And there'll be blanketed exposure to those
There's a
buildings
fence.
on.
There is a fence
There's a fence.
proposed along that line, yes.
And how high is that fence? 8, 10,
8 feet.
8 feet?
What's the material of fence?
It'll be black vinyl coated chain link fence.
So
Chain
no
link.
buffer.
Correct.
I think it's got to have a buffer. I mean, if we're removing a buffer. But also, aren't we, so then are we expanding the parking area then? You are
No.
expanding the park.
No, not
But you
expanding.
just said the trucks are gonna park and drive on the gravel.
Not parked, they're
They-
just
Yeah, they won't.
turning radius
Right.
if they need to
That's
back.
parking area.
But there is,
there's- I
there
mean-
is some of that there now
Yeah.
in the buffer. The pavement extends into the buffer a little bit, and there's some gravelled areas that people have cleared in the past. If you look at the sheet CO 102, you can see the old tree line ghosted in there. There's a bunch of cleared areas
Yeah.
in that buffer right now.
But if we curb the existing pavement and you're moving the buffer, that would work?
Say that one more time.
We curb it, where the existing buffer is, it's curbed, so it's just a storage area. So otherwise, you're triggering you're expanding a parking lot.
Yeah, no, there's no intention for parking in
Yeah,
that
we
area.
have way more parking than we
Yeah.
need. So we're trying to put the storage in the back where it's out of sight,
Right.
as opposed to putting it in the parking lot where we have more parking than we need,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think that is a good goal, if this group could find their way to granting the special permit, because as Andy said, they have big pallets of high, orange piping and, yellow storm tech, units, and we don't want to see that as we drive by on Independence. We'd rather it behind the building, so for the greater good, I think it's a noble to tuck it in behind there.
So
And,
there's no storage sheds, temporary or otherwise? This is just stuff that's on pallets or whatever outside?
Weather resistant, hardy stuff that's inert, nothing
Right,
that's going to get
PVC
into the
pipe, those
aquifer.
types of things.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this exists right now too at the Kids Hill.
Correct.
Sorry, the
Yes.
Breeds Hill property too.
Breeds Hill,
So it's
yeah.
similar to the operation that they have in Breeds Hill.
And hopefully we'll have more inside, because we're doubling our space, so a lot of it will go inside, but the overflow will be in the back.
Yeah. And rather than having, cars from Thornton Drive spill onto the property, which is what's happening now, it will be a lot cleaner and, as Andy and Dan said, really screened from Kids Hill Road, which is where it has the most visibility right now.
So, Attorney Cox, so this is the use is existing is by right,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
We're carrying pre-existing non-conforming of
Just the buffer.
just the buffer.
Correct.
So we're saying that 24094 doesn't trigger here, or it does?
Correct. No, just 93.
Just 93 under B.
Correct.
Okay.
Special permit. Yep. And again, we went through this at site plan review, and they concurred that that's the relief that's needed for this.
Okay.
And just to chime in, Dan Ojal again, I don't know if Liza mentioned it, but just to stress, this is a bit unique because we've got almost 6.5 acres off-site open space that was dedicated for this property. So the next guy that comes in and asks for relief, you say, well, where's your 6 acres of off-site open space? And it kind of makes us unique in that sense.
Anyone else? Aaron? Paul? Larry? Larry? Herb?
My only confusion was the loading docks. I couldn't see.
Yep. It seems like a tight space for turning of 18-wheelers, and
But
certainly...
I think the backspace would be the smaller trucks.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
I did
The
misspeak.
front is the
You
18-wheeler,
could get an
the back is-
18-wheeler in there, but it's a
I concur.
trick. And
It-
now.
Yeah,
now
I mean,
that
I think that northwest corner is certainly designed for small truck storage.
Single unit, yeah.
Yeah. But
Potentially-
they've been doing it before.
I agree.
But so then I guess that asks the question, why do we need to remove so much of the buffer, all of the buffer, if it already was happening? Why can't it continue with a buffer? At least, some of the
Find
existing
another place for the storage of stuff, you mean?
Or create
Fit it
space
within-
within the buffer, like, there's a storage, a storage clearing and some more buffer and a storage clearing, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see it more sort of contained within almost like a open-aired shed, almost like Shepley's, for instance, has 2x4s within an open, but a one-faced enclosure that would be,
Yeah, then they're adding another structure, sort of.
Yeah,
like-
I agree, but
There's
again,
building
it
setbacks
keeps it,
that-
but it keeps it, well, that's a
I mean,
good
I
point,
more
yeah.
feel like it would be nice if it was like identified clearing space, that this is like where the storage of the pipes and things goes, and there's a little bit of a buffer, and there's like another storage space. It's not just, we're just bulldozing this whole space is kind of how it looks on the plan, but that's just.
Can you go back, can you go back to the image of the overhead Google Earth? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty choppy already.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't,
Yeah.
again,
So-
anyway.
I think you have to look at it too in the context of the neighborhood. That's what the bylaw requires. And again, when you look at what is surrounding this industrial area, there's literally like stuff sprayed everywhere. We are containing it with the area shown on the plan, and we're adding additional landscaping in 2 areas that are currently bare, and in particular along Kids Hill Road, which you can see clearly on the aerial. That's really going to improve, I think, the curb appeal and screen this area from that roadway. Plus, it's also, there's a fence that also delineates, I think it's shown on here. Yeah, the sort of left corner of that storage area. There's a new fence that's being proposed between the left corner of the building and the property line to delineate that storage area, as well as a fence along the property line.
And if I could, through the chair?
Yep.
So, you know, the fundamental issue here is that Sencorp White and Packaging Industries didn't have the outdoor storage component that FW Web does. At their existing site, there's outdoor storage, and they just, it's much easier to fork it and move it around, the lightweight but bulky material that doesn't need a roof. So they need a little bit of space, and so our options are, as Andy mentioned, put it in this parking lot out front, because we are way over parked, and we'd just either get the relief or you know,
Be
have
by
some
right.
rationale that we don't need, you know, extra hundreds of spaces, or put it in the back. And it really seems to make more sense to get it in the back in this case. It's a, for lack of a better term, a down and dirty industrial back there. It's fragmented and segmented, that buffer. And we've already donated 6 acres off-site. It seems to me to make sense, but just leave it at that.
Did the commission weigh in on this?
Good question. So we are at the Cape Cod Commission. There's an existing DRI decision that was granted in 1998 to Sencor White for the big expansion. We have a meeting with the Commission's Committee on Planning and Regulation on July 9th for what they call a minor modification, so it's not even a public hearing. We've been working with Commission staff, basically documenting that the impacts that they approved are the same or less than the impacts that will be associated with this use, getting very good feedback. Because it's a modification and not an independent trigger, we can go forward with local permitting. We still have to get the commission, and if you wanted to include that as a condition of your decision, that's fine.
Okay. And none of that buffer was mapped on their, you know, undisturbed?
Correct.
street,
No,
so-
in fact, as Dan mentioned and I mentioned, when they added on the big expansion in 1998 through the commission decision, they met their open space obligations off-site with that 6.25 acre property.
Go ahead, Paul.
The abutting properties on the west side,
Yep.
those are all in the IND district?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's.
Yes, they are,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the cover sheet has the zoning on it, yeah. All industrial, yeah.
Anything else? Larry, Aaron?
Nope.
My questions were answered just as everyone was asking. I had the same.
Okay. We can open for public comment. Is there anyone here that wants to speak to this? Just come on up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and
Evening, I won't take up too much of your time. I was just
name and address for the record.
My name is Andrew, and that's really the only part you need to know. For what it's worth, I don't claim to be any type of expert, but listening to the nice lady here make her presentation, looking at the information she provided to lay out what they're proposing, and as a CDL driver, it's nice that somebody actually took into consideration where we'd actually have to be able to turn around, because almost nobody ever builds stuff with large trucks in mind, yet they always request that large trucks go to those locations and then figure out how to move around. So that's kind of nice. But from what I can tell, what she's laid out, frankly, it sounds like the situation in the backside there sounds like Stonewood products, only with pipes. Like, they seem to have most of their ducks in a row, and it doesn't sound like they'll be leaving stuff there indefinitely. It sounds like they're gonna fix the place up, Sounds like they've given good consideration to most everything. I'd let them do it. And FW Web, as I understand, is also a business that a lot of people in that trade seem to favor and would appreciate having access to, which I would assume would also be good for business and would also mean some more money, some more revenue. So from what I can tell, and I don't have access admittedly to the same information that you nice people do or the same considerations that you have to take into account, but from what I can gather, it sounds like a win-win. As just a simple working man, sounds like a good prospect to me. So, but that's just my take, so make of that what you will.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner
Good evening,
Florence.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Brian Florence, your building commissioner. I just bring site plan review's perspective here. The only way you're going to see that buffer zone is if you fly over it towards the airport. It's hidden by all the buildings on the west side. It's hidden by the 100,000+ square foot building on the east side. There's nothing there to see except for an entrance, and they're going to put a fence up. So, any questions for me? Happy to answer them.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? Just come on up to the microphone. Just come up to the microphone. Sorry. There's people at home watching.
Hi, just a simple question.
Just like your name and
Elise
village.
McMullen.
Yep.
Yep. And I'm just wondering, this diagram shows a lot of green, but what you're talking about is removing all of that. So why don't you show a diagram of what it's really going to look like? That's what I'm wondering, because this is not what it's going to look like if you take down all of the greenery. And I think where to see what it's really going to.
Through the chair, I could
Go ahead.
just, so my office prepared that plan, so that is actually, you know, what it will look like. Whether the gray on the west is, you know, exactly that color when we do the gravel, whether it's blue stone or more native stone, but that's, everything else is already there on the site, and we're greening up to the southwest, the northwest, and out front to help screen the trucks that are the bigger trucks. So it'll look just like this. There'll be a nice 8-foot security fence. We moved the fire department connection down to the southwest corner at some great expense for the fire department. So I think it's a well thought out plan, and it'll look just like this. Again, the coloring is a little bit artistic, but everything that's green is green.
Well, the green on the east side and the north side, that's grass?
There's some lawn in there, yep, rough Cape Cod lawn, nothing too fancy, and the rest is like pine and oak shrub. The airport comes and mows it every once in a while because we're in the flight path, so there's no big trees. You might notice the center of the Independence Park, they took out all the trees and put in some low-growing ones. But other than that, it's pretty densely vegetated out there, and you know, it's reasonable. Again, if we were to stack big pallets, I think you'd see them over the buffer, but right now it's pretty nice looking from the street. And it'll remain a little bit better along Kids Hill, as we noted.
Anyone else in the public have comments?
Olive green, what's going to be there?
The olive green's gravel, correct?
So it's going to be gray.
Yeah, it
Gravel of
depends
some color.
if it's bluestone or brownstone or native, but yeah, that'll all be, you could picture it as gray if you'd like, but that's just to the west of the building.
Hi, I'm Betty Ludke from Hyannis. It just, when I heard Cape Cod lawn, although that sounds nice, I was just in a meeting today, and the town is trying to work towards a policy of trying to do more native, more pollinator friendly. I would hope that, you know, lawns would be diminished. I mean, there's no point of having a lawn out there. Nobody's going out to play in it. It's just going to be for visuals. So I would hope as you're developing your landscape, I understand this is an airport easement area. I know the airport owns an easement here. So I know you can't do the taller growth, but I would hope you would not put any lawn whatsoever. And just because I think we're going to keep being in drought, and we should just be more sensitive. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Through the chair, yeah, there's a little picnic area in the north corner, a little bit of cut lawn around it, but we can certainly look at keeping it natural and maybe get some pollinators in there, you know, some wildflowers. It's
Yeah,
about
and
the
we're-
only lawn they use.
We're not really planning to touch anything that's in the green area. It's existing to
It's
remain.
existing.
So, yep.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else from the public? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment's open. The public hearing is closed. The public hearing's still open. You guys have any more questions or thoughts?
I don't. I certainly appreciate Commissioner Florence's point of view there that it will not be seen. That there's nobody necessarily abutting this back edge of the westerly side here to oppose. So, and I think FW Webb, for the most part, has done a nice job on Breeds Hill. It's a well-designed building and looks nice. It's maintained properly, and I have no issue with this.
Yeah, I think the critical question of substantially more detrimental certainly doesn't apply to me here, my opinion.
I think my thing is just, I'd like to see the chain link fence on the buffer side have those black slats in it, so it creates a little bit of a buffer from the backyard to the other yard, or if a wooden fence was preferred, that's fine too.
That's fine.
Just to keep a little bit of a division.
That's, yeah, that certainly helps until they slide out, but. But initially it helps. I mean, I again, it's not a big ask. I think that's fair.
If we're getting rid of a buffer, I just use a little bit of a.
Yeah, the chain link is certainly the least expensive way to get away with, wrapping that around, and visually for those abutters that will back up, I think that's a good point.
I mean, they're all going to be a little surprised, I think, when they realize where their property line is, probably.
Could be.
It's been staked out recently, so.
Got some
They won't be
cleanup
too
to do there.
Staked out about a year and a half ago. They know.
So if there's no more discussion, we can close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Does someone want to make findings, or is there more deliberation to be had?
I'll do findings if you
Go ahead, Paul.
With respect to appeal number 2026-012, FW Web Company, One Center Place Limited Partnership, has to do with the application for a special permit pursuant to section 240-93B. I find that the application falls within the category specifically accepted in the ordinance for a grant of a special permit. Section 240-93B allows for the alteration and/or expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming building or structure. I find that after the evaluation of all the evidence presented, the proposal fulfills the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance and would not represent a substantial detriment to the public good or the neighborhood effective. I think we've found that while the buffer is going to be removed, the cleanup of that area offset by the new plantings in the northwest corner and along Kids Road would greatly help enhance that property view. I find that a site plan has been reviewed and found approvable with conditions. The Site Plan Review Committee issued an approval letter on May 22nd, 2026. Those are my findings with conditions.
All right, do we have a second for Paul's findings?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And so, Paul,
I have 4 findings. Are we adding one with,
I think,
with respect to the Cape Cod Commission?
yeah, I think we should add that the Cape Cod Commission minor modification is approved as,
So that'd be number 5. This would be, the approval is subject to the Cape Cod Commission's acceptance of the petition,
minor
Perfect.
modification, yeah.
minor modification.
Yep.
So my special conditions are 1 through 5, which are acceptable.
Yes, thank you.
The slats.
Oh, the fence, wait a minute.
Privacy slats, you might
I
call
don't
them.
really find the slats necessary. I just realized that it's really FW Webb that's going to benefit from a buffer, because if you could see what the the back of those buildings must look like. I assume we've all driven down Thornton Drive. I drive through there as what I think is going to be a shortcut for my storage unit, and I regret it every time. So I think it's more FW Web that's going to benefit from any slats, so I would leave that up to them. You know, less is more in this case.
I think when we're removing a separation, we need to have a little bit of separation, is my feeling, but I'm only one member.
I agree. The slats.
I'm fine with the slat. I mean, you might be right, Herb, but still,
Yeah,
taking into
yeah,
consideration the
I can
abutters,
see we are here to adhere to,
protect the abutters,
yeah,
I guess.
and we're giving the special permit to remove the buffer, so slats are a small price to pay. I guess I just wanted to throw in my Thornton Drive comment there.
I use some of those businesses on Thornton Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, condition number 6 will be slats in the fence. And if those are acceptable, those are my conditions.
All right, do we have a second on the conditions?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now we need to vote to grant the permit as
Yep.
in its entirety.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Permit is granted. All right, so now we need to
Withdraw.
the variance. So I'll make a motion to, or I guess.
Yes, please, thank you.
I'll make a motion to withdraw appeal number 2026-013.
Second, Paul.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So that is withdrawn.
Super.
Thank you, Attorney
Thank you very
Cox.
much. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Correspondence, we had a Cape Cod Commission meeting agenda notice for tomorrow night, June 25th. Any matters not reasonably anticipated? Seeing none, we have July 8th in person. We're working on the 40B agenda, right? Do we have a draft coming in shortly? Yes.
Yes.
I have one question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is the right time to pose it, but after the last in-person we had before we got postponed, there were certain things that came up about protocols for us in terms of how we're going to manage that meeting. Should that be discussed in an open environment?
Jim, do you want to give a quick, whatever, preparation for the July 22nd you're referring to?
At the high school, correct, yeah.
Sure. So obviously, we don't want to get into any substantive discussions, but in terms of
I just want to know, can we put it on the agenda to have a conversation about it at next meeting?
so like the administrative actions of the board, like do you want to have sign-in sheets and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, and again, but I mean, there were people holding up signs. Is it going to be that kind of? And I'm not here to say yay or nay one way or the other. I'm just curious whether or not, if we're going to be timing people in official capacity, which we normally kind of don't do, no offense, is there a protocol that we can then establish?
But yes, I let it go. But I do. I usually have my time.
I know you do, but I mean, it's pretty
before.
loose, right? I mean,
Yes,
it's not, we're not, certainly, again, I'm just curious, because that meeting's going to
Are
be.
you volunteering to be timekeeper?
No, I just, if we're going to have it, my point is I want it to be available for the public speaker to see as well.
Yeah.
Because it makes it
like a
difficult.
visible clock?
Yeah, a visible clock,
Not a bad
because
idea.
it's, yeah, like a timer, because it's,
So I can certainly work with the chairman. If we want to do timeframes, you certainly are, that is available to you. I mean, in terms of administrating the meeting, it will be the same procedures as, we historically do at the zoning board, treating it no different other than we're going to be in a significantly larger venue where we are working with the high school to get the PAC, the bigger auditorium. They are under renovation, but they are making accommodations for us. So we are working with them to do that, and we have people that are going on site to set it all up for everybody. We'll have multiple mics, and we'll make it as seamless as possible. But yes, it will be a very active meeting, I'm sure. And so, trying to manage, public comments, so not repetitive conversations and stuff like that, certainly is within the board and the chairman's purview. But yeah, I'm happy to speak with the chairman about other controls that maybe he wants to bring to the board at the next meeting to discuss further, if you like.
that was really only my point or question, whether or not we can add it to the next meeting's agenda to have a follow-up conversation about some of those items that,
Yeah.
if people have thoughts. If not, I'm
If
good.
there's things people want to bring with, ideas of, and we can try to, I guess we could set sort of parameters ahead of time at a public meeting.
Yeah, you
That's
certainly,
not what-
you as the chair can lay down the procedures of how you wish to run the hearing that night. And so certainly, as long as we're treating, I think, everyone fairly and equally, I don't see a concern with that. So yes, I'm happy to work with you, Mr. Dewitt, to establish those ground rules so that you can maybe read them aloud in the beginning of the hearing.
Okay. And then just on the 40B, you'll send out the draft permit in the next week or two.
Yeah, so we've worked with the applicant since the last meeting to try and refine the conditions, and we're waiting on the plan based on the conversation that was had with the board. So as soon as we get that back, we will get that over to you.
Okay. Great. All right, so upcoming hearings, July 8th, July 22nd, and August 12th. Jen, anything happening August 12th we should anticipate?
Nothing yet.
Okay. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.